These are the 3 legendary weapons, each with its unique lore and once being held by the most powerful people. These swords are now forgotten and hidden deep in the ultimate survivor world. My mission is to explore this magical world to obtain all of the 3 swords and gain immortality. Along my journey, I must be very careful not to die, because one mistake means restarting all over again. First, I made some tools and immediately went to the pillager outpost in hopes of finding some good starter items. After killing all the pillagers and not finding anything interesting, I swam to the nearest mushroom island, which was full of cool Easter eggs and witches along with their houses. I got there to hopefully get some wood and iron. Immediately after that, I found a small cave full of iron and coal. After mining everything, I wanted to smelt them. While waiting for the iron, my priority was to explore the swamp, which later led me to find Shrek's house that featured his donkey and Puss in Boots. Unfortunately, no Shrek put his armor. After robbing him from all of his food, then crafted and equipped my iron armor and found my way to the nearest village in Plain. Maybe not the biggest and coolest village, but it will do for now. It had one good side, because the village was surprisingly close to one of the legendary swords that was hidden deep into the dark forest, stuck in a stone waiting to be picked up. After gathering all the food from the village, I had enough for the entire game. With that in mind, I made my way into the dark forest with giant trees. After a while, I found a small island, which I saw the Sword of Akna, the first of the legendary swords held by a protector of the ultimate survivor world. And now, I was the owner of this legendary sword. Below the sword, I also found a book full of yapping to talk about the ancient city, which I assumed showed the way for another legendary sword. The book pointed the way to the desert, where the entrance is. But after arriving there, the massive desert temple caught my attention more than the entrance to the ancient city, so I quickly ran there to see if there were any items I could collect. After entering, I was greeted by 4 mob spawners, which I quickly destroyed. When mining down, I almost blew the entire temple up, but fortunately I made my way down and found 9 chests in total, which gave me a lot of golden apples and bones. But the main chest gave me a netherite helmet with these enchantments, so at the end I wasn't that happy. I went back and without hesitation jumped into the entrance to the ancient city and ran for another 20 minutes in this tunnel that was probably mined by the people inside the city. At the ancient city, I was greeted by many skulk sensors that I needed to avoid to prevent spawning a warden. Before entering, I made myself full set of diamond armor that I mined along the way, and stepped into the ancient city. To get the sword, I somehow needed to reach the middle of the ancient city. After destroying some sensors and quietly walking for a few minutes, I accomplished this goal, and found the second forgotten sword, the Warden's Blade, which I assume was created in this factory full of gold. But I wasn't done yet. The ancient city was divided between 2 ancient factions, the Amethyst faction and the Copper faction. Each faction has a lot of cool stuff and buildings to explore, but I was only there for each faction's main item, a pickaxe for the Amethyst faction and an axe for the Copper faction. After robbing them, disaster struck, a warden was summoned and my heart stopped. I ran for my life, hoping to not get killed and have to restart all my progress all over again. After summoning nearly 10 wardens, I made my way back to the entrance, grabbed my most valuable stuff and escaped. After this experience, I was happy to see that the last sword was in a Chinese village, in the snowy mountains. With no time to waste, I put my items in my house in the village I found Ariel and went exploring. I was confused when I saw 2 villages because I didn't know exactly which one had the sword in it. First, I stumbled upon a smaller one. After finding some questionable things and more food, I saw these statues and got a strange achievement. Then I climbed the mountains behind them and spotted the next bigger village. After a quick walk, I started searching every house for the sword. When all my hopes were lost, I found myself into the last biggest village building, which was equipped with its own lake, bamboo and cute pandas all around. Inside I found a third and probably most powerful sword, the samurai blade. Happily, I went deeper into the house, but found nothing more interesting, so I decided to go back. I returned to my house and sorted all my books and legendary items that I found along the way, and left everything there to test out my new swords. Okay, bye, have a great day, comment your favorite moment, and for the love of God, subscribe!